Hey guys, Tom here. Welcome back. And we've got another great episode for you today here at Tropical Escapes at Home. What I want to do today is ask you a few questions to get you thinking. And I want to try to create something here that kind of goes from start to finish so that we're not just thinking about things randomly about the tropics and how to create an escape at home. And then there's no action, there's no conclusion, there's no results. Because I know when people are busy in life and you can't just get on a plane and go to some cool tropical escape somewhere, take some wonderful vacation time, which is probably overdue and very much needed, I have to say, because I know that there's a lot of people out there who are way overdue for some time off. But when that's just not possible for whatever reason, you can, as you've heard me say many times, have your own tropical escape at home. But if today you were able to just get away, regardless of what's going on at work or family life or whatever, you were able to just get on a plane and go. If you could disappear to that tropical hideaway today, right now, where would it be? Do you have a particular location in mind? Or do you just maybe have some general imagery of an awesome beach with the crashing waves and the coconut palms and, just kind of maybe a more general image in your mind, but without a specific location? Where would that be? What is your ideal place to go? Maybe that you've heard about, or if you've been before, would you go back there? Is it the same place? In either scenario, whether you've traveled or not, would you get online and try to pin that imagery down? That's what I would suggest that you do, is take some time out of your busy day, out of your busy week, and, think about, if I could leave today just to take a much needed break, where would I go? What would I do? And then, get online and try and pin that imagery down. On my website, ceruleanbay.com, I've got some great locations on there, some resorts that I've reviewed, some that I've been to, some that I've had trusted sources go to where I know I could count on their opinion. And even some of those I've researched just to get additional information and imagery too, to create a nice blog post. But that's what I would do. I would just get online and start to build a mental picture of where you could go right now if it was possible. And then after having been online and kind of getting some great imagery together there and just some cool ideas, what is it about that place? Why that particular place? What is it that you want to see and do when you get there? What's your reason for going there? Is it just rest and relaxation? Is it just to escape and do something in particular or see something in particular? If you really narrow down what your reasons are for wanting to be in a tropical hideaway or to take that really special vacation, that can really help you then decide what it is and how you would go about creating a tropical escape at home so that you can recreate that. You can have a wonderful representation of that place at home where you can go to relax, de-stress, take a break during a busy day, during a busy week. And that place is going to focus on specifically what it is you love about that tropical hideaway. So when you do have your ideal tropical place narrowed down, ask yourself, what's your most favorite part about it? Then ask yourself another question. What parts of that can you recreate at home so that you can continue to enjoy it as much as possible there? That's the central goal or theme of what I do here, is to get people to make that connection. What is your most favorite part about it? What is possible about that? What parts about that are possible to recreate at home so you can continue to enjoy it as much as possible there until you can go back again, or if you've never been, you can go and see it for the first time. It's just having that representation, that recreation of it at home, that I know is so vitally important, because I have my own little tropical escape here at home, which I love. It happens to be my home office, which for some people would think, well, that's associating work with vacation time or whatever. But given what it is I do, and everything is centered around the tropics, this is the room I spend the most time in. And I absolutely love it here behind my desk and with the window. And I'll have to do a YouTube video about this just so that you can actually see my office. And I live in the regular suburban part of Northwest Harris County here in Houston. And when I look out, I live in a cul-de-sac. I've got my little front yard here, and it's just very green and nice. And, I've got my room painted in like a really nice, cool blue color. And I've got my plants in here, and obviously I've got my desk and my podcast equipment and webcam and all of that. But it's a place that when I look around, it's always calming. And I have my little things in here which speak to me. And it's just always very calming and relaxing. And when I'm doing something else somewhere else in the house, or having to take care of things outside, or maybe out back cleaning the pool, or I happen to go off with my wife and run some errands or whatever, and I just need maybe some quiet time to just kind of get grounded, I actually come back into my office and just sit behind my desk and look around. And it's very calming. It's very peaceful. It's wonderful. And then in our living room, we have it done in a way where there is a whole lot of tropical infusion there. That is the perfect place where I hang out with my wife, or when we have friends or family over, we hang out there. And I've got a really nice light tropical green on the walls with accent wall done in blue. But it's interesting how I was able to do it because I had used drywall mud or joint compound, which I had kind of smeared on the walls to create a really interesting kind of plaster effect. And then with some diluted paint, I actually took, it was almost like a lima bean green colored paint, and I put some of that and mixed it in with some water so that I could use a rag, and then just literally ragged it onto the walls. It was a very watery consistency, but then it gives the walls a like watercolor look. It's actually really cool. So I was able to do the main walls in the green, and then I was able to do an accent wall in a really nice kind of lighter blue. And if anyone is interested in doing this, just know that darker colors will become much lighter when they're diluted with water. But the whole living room is done in this watercolor effect. And then we have the bar out there that my son built, and we've got some shelves on the wall with some tropical looking things up there. So even though it's not a private tropical escape, it works for my wife and I and for anybody who is here. And, we're fortunate. We have a pretty big house here. We were able to raise our 3 boys, and 2 of them are married and off on their way. And our youngest one is here. He's in college. But the house is very quiet. During the day, I'm the only one here. So yes, when my wife is home and she's doing her thing, and my son is home and he's doing his thing, maybe he's got a friend over or something, I can come in my office. I can close the door. Very quiet. Yes, my office is my personal tropical escape. So this is something that I highly encourage everybody should have. Even if it's not a home office, it can be any room in your house, a place where you can go and comfortably sit and just relax, de-stress, and look around and be surrounded by colors and imagery and textures and things that take you back to the tropics, things that remind you of some wonderful places that you've been. But just remember this important reminder when you are looking for inspiration online about the issues regarding AI. Last week, when we were talking about the issue of AI and how that has just completely infiltrated the world of interior design online, I really felt that it's important to just keep reminding people whenever I mention looking for tropical inspiration, when you're online or wherever you're looking for it, just to avoid the AI imagery, because it just presents scenarios that aren't real. And I find that there's too much in there that's not possible to do, which just makes it not worth even looking at to begin with. Other than maybe some color palette inspiration, I just see no use in AI imagery because it just creates scenarios that aren't possible. It's very distracting with all of the placements that it does that are nonsensical. So as you're getting online and looking for your inspiration, just stay true to that tropical hideaway that we were imagining at the top of the show here. Focus on that. Don't get distracted, because I think when you're researching anything online for inspiration, whether it's the tropics or not, it's just so easy to get distracted because there's so much online. There's just so much information out there. And if you're not focused and you don't shut out all of the other noise and the clutter, it's really easy to start getting pulled down other paths that you didn't mean to go down. And then suddenly you're looking at stuff that's completely unrelated or whatever. But be careful when you're online for tropical inspiration for your escape at home. Just keep focusing on that mental image you have of your ideal place that you would escape to today if you could. Just keep bringing yourself back to that and don't get distracted. Use that as your guardrail and then funnel everything down towards your tropical escape at home. all of the elements that you can use, the colors you can use, furnishings and decor pieces you can use, textures you can use, sounds and sensory experiences that you can use. What are your favorite smells? Maybe they're coconut, maybe it's some kind of a floral scent. Whatever aromatherapy type scent would help bring that image to life, because aromatherapy is very powerful. There are some scents out there that can really recreate experiences. They can really bring back some memories, which can be a really wonderful thing. Be sure to use those, factor them in appropriately, and they will only add to creating your tropical escape. So that's what we're doing here in today's podcast, is just getting you to think, getting you to imagine, and then getting you to connect that to a particular space at home. So to continue with this theme, I have to ask you, as you're imagining your perfect place, what room would you then use at home to create the best recreation of it, the best representation of it? And as you imagine that particular room or space, are there any blockers? Are there any disconnects? Is there anything getting in the way of making that possible? So, just to take a step back here, do you have a particular room or a space that you can claim as your own and then transform it? Or if you do have a particular room in mind, is there anything that is preventing you from changing it, from creating your own tropical escape? This involves looking at how the space is currently used. It involves looking at the current lifestyle that goes on in your home as a whole. And then it's just making a list of issues. How solvable are they? What I recommend people do, if you do have things that come to mind and you're like, oh, well, this is stopping me, or, oh, yeah, that's not going to be possible, or, there's this and then there's that. And, well, I can be in there sometimes by myself, but then somebody else comes in, or maybe the kids come in, or even if you should happen to live alone, is there a particular reason why a space cannot continuously be what you need it to be? A place of relaxation, a place that blocks out everything else in life. So it's very important to know what these issues are. I recommend making a list of them, prioritize them if necessary in order of difficulty. And then once you've done that, go after the easy ones, go after the low-hanging fruit. Try and knock those out, solving them. Yeah, this issue can be resolved because whatever I'm doing in this room can now be done in that room over there. Or if there's other people in the household using this room, now they're going to know that it's off limits, and whatever they've been using this room for can be done in another room. And there's just creating that boundary, that separation. And there's absolutely nothing wrong in having that. You are not being selfish. You are creating some space for you to just go and decompress and take a break from life. And even if it's just for a few minutes, even if it's for an hour, whether it's once a day, once a week, whatever it is, it's there whenever you need it. Nobody else can claim it. Nobody else can take it over. Very important to have a place like that you can call your own. And I think it's particularly important if you do have a busy household and you've got a busy lifestyle. Look at those different lifestyle elements and see what can be changed, what can be moved to other spaces. What would need to happen? Just ask yourself as many questions as you need to about that, and then resolve them. It's important to look at those lifestyle elements and then address any issues that are coming up and seeing what you can alter so that you can create those boundaries and then maintain those. Because as I said, you're not being selfish. You are totally entitled to that. And then after you've gone through your issues, you've evaluated them all, maybe you've already got some of those resolved, just take a step back again, look at the area in your home that you can create your escape in, and then ask yourself this question: have my feelings toward this space changed at all? Is it still the best space for me to do this? Just like with any interior design project, if you're not doing your whole home and you are focusing on a particular room, why is it that room? Is it the only one that needs to be updated in your house? Or are you planning on updating some other ones as well? If so, why are you doing this room at this particular time? What is creating the priority there? Maybe you should be doing another room first before you're doing this one. It's really just nailing down your feelings to make sure that they are accurate and that everything is prioritized properly and that it is genuinely good for you to move forward. You feel very good. It's almost like having that gut feeling. You know that, yes, this is it. It's time. This is the space. This is for me. life will continue to go on regardless of the number of little changes and alterations that need to be made that might affect other people. But yes, it's very important to nail down that space and then really own the timing of it. Confirm that timing within, yeah, it's okay for me to do this little project. I deserve this. And when you've done that, it's also a good time then to just realize all of the positive benefits that can happen. It's kind of like a nice reminder, if you hadn't thought about it already, about, what can happen when you have a room that's been fully transformed and you've got this awesome recreation of your ideal tropical hideaway, the one that we started out at the top of this conversation. If you could get away today, where would it be? What would it look like? Why that place? Now you've got a concept, you've got something that you can work with to recreate that in this space. How does that help to then fuel you to move forward? What do you need to do to achieve it? And sometimes that can be a little overwhelming because now you've decided, yeah, I want to do this with this space. I want to make it look like this image in my head. I want to have this feeling come to life that I'm feeling inside of me right now that is just so wonderful, and the potential for just some mental downtime and some relaxation. And just when I open my eyes and just being able to see all these nice things around me, it can be overwhelming. How do you get there? And so if today's conversation has got you wondering what is possible and what is not possible, how do I overcome the issues? How do I bring this to life? That's where I really recommend the Tropical Self-Discovery Assessment. It's part of the online interior design program that I have called Tropical Design at Home. And I've got a link to it in the show notes today. It's only $29 to take the assessment. And I think it is a very inexpensive and valuable way to find that clarity that you need from A to Z in so many different important areas so that you can effectively take what you love about the tropics and turn it into something real in your home. You can apply all the necessary elements in that special room in your home so that it can be your tropical hideaway when traveling to a far-off resort is not possible. So that, again, is the Tropical Self-Discovery Assessment. I strongly encourage you to take that. Then, once you've done that, you're going to know exactly what it is you love about the tropics and why. You will have examined the space that you do have to work with in your home, and it will help you to evaluate that space in terms of usage and lifestyle, what's possible and what's not possible. And like I always like to tell people, no, we can't recreate a beach with the crashing waves in your home, and we can't put those swaying palm trees in your living room, but we can do the next best thing. And that is all of the right colors and imagery, the right textures. Then there's the whole sensory experience in there too. What kind of sounds do you have? If you're going to have a TV or any other source of video in your space, it should really only show something that is a great reproduction of where you would go in real life. I know on YouTube, there's a lot of really cool nature-y type videos on there. There's also some apps that you can get that recreate the sounds and imagery of nature, but it should only really be something that helps you to recreate that vibe. With those longer nature videos, you can really just spend hours in a tropical scene. I've actually seen some pretty cool stuff on YouTube. Maybe it's at a beach, maybe on an island, but yeah, you just want something that's kind of wonderful in terms of lengthy nature type things. And of course, you've got to have some good speakers in there or a great sound system. Maybe you're using earbuds, or maybe you've got some really good headphones, but they've just got to be something that blocks out everything else. They should just be absolutely superior so that they just create a real representation of what you would hear in the tropics. And then if there's that video element too, it has to be free of ads. It should be completely uninterrupted. It should eliminate the rest of the world, because if you are at a tropical resort, whether you're out by the pool or you're on the beach, there aren't going to be any ads. There aren't going to be any distractions. Nothing's going to be jumping in there to disrupt that vibe, that energy. So that's why, even though I'm a big fan of many things that I see on YouTube, it's those ads that just get in the way. And it's just so frustrating when those just interrupt like a really bad commercial. So be careful when you're on YouTube with some of those really cool videos. And then when you're ready to take the results of your assessment and move those forwards. This is where I give a lot of very good instruction about how to do things. It is very do it yourself because I think a lot of what is involved in creating a tropical escape at home can be done on your own, unless you're going to get into some remodeling and you're going to start having things like windows and sliding doors installed, or you're going to be moving walls or things like that, where you've obviously got to bring in the pros. 90%, if not 100% of everything regarding a home tropical escape can be done on your own, maybe with the minimal help of a friend or two, just for some heavier items or for some measuring large pieces, or if you want to have a painting party or something like that. But I've got the instructions about how to do all of it from A to Z in the Tropical Home Transformation Guide. And you can currently use the coupon code that is in there and save $100 off on that. But it does take you through all of the topics that an actual interior designer would take you through for a whole lot less in cost. So I really do recommend that you click on the link called Tropical Design at Home in the show notes and check that out. And then also, I'm available for coaching calls. In the Home Transformation Guide, you are entitled to 3 free calls with me. All of my calls are set up in 30-minute segments, and you get 3 free calls in there. If you do want to do separate coaching calls outside of that, I only charge $30 for 30 minutes, so it's just $1 a minute. We can talk about anything you want regarding tropical design, the tropics in general, just how to create tropical escapes. I would love to get on the phone and just have that conversation with you so that you can leave with some knowledge that you just didn't have before. You can leave with some questions answered and maybe just see things from a different point of view. So that's Tropical Design at Home. And I also encourage you just to sign up for the free weekly newsletter that I have. It's called the Cabana Lounge, and it comes out every Monday morning. And it's just your free weekly inspiration delivered right to your inbox. And in there, you've just got some great design inspiration. I do some product reviews and I do some resort recommendations. I provide refreshing recipes for nice cocktails and beverages, or for appetizers, main dishes, anything within the world of tropical entertaining. There's just a lot of fun stuff in there, and it's free. So check out the Cabana Lounge. So with that, check out my YouTube channel as well, Tropical Escape at Home, and go ahead and like and subscribe over there. We've got new content that's always coming out. And as always, I wish you a wonderful week, a lot of health and happiness, a lot of tropical inspiration, and just thanks so much for tuning in. We will catch up again next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.